In today's video, we'll explain everything you need to know about public transport in the city of Porto, including how to get there from the airport. Hola, tudo bem? Hello, I am Tony Galvez and this is Road Trip Spain and Portugal, where we help you plan the perfect trip with practical information and insider tips. The city of Porto in Portuguese, is quite compact and you will get to many places on foot. But when you need public transport, you'll find that, like Lisbon, Porto's public transport is excellent. Porto's system is made up of several types of transport, which we will talk about in the video. They are the following: the metro, the buses, the trams, a funicular railway, and the taxis and ride-sharing services. We will talk in detail about each of them, and when we finish, we will talk about how to get out of Porto Airport. In the final part of the video, we will look at public transport tickets in Porto and how to pay for your journeys on most of the above mentioned means of transport. The metro is an excellent transport system for getting around the city quickly. A special feature of the Porto Metro is that most of its lines run above ground, like a modern tram, rather than through underground tunnels. The network has 6 lines plus a 7th, which is currently under construction. They are as follows: Line A, blue, between Estádio do Dragão and Senhor do Matosinhos, good for those who want to go to Campanhã railway station or get to Matosinhos. Line B, red, between Estádio do Dragão and Póvoa de Varzim. Line C, green, between Estádio do Dragão and Ismael. Line D, yellow, between Hospital de São João and Santo Ovidio. It is a perpendicular line to the rest and is the one you will use if you want to go to Vila Nova de Gaia, crossing the Luís I bridge. Line E, purple, between Trindade and the airport, the line you will use to leave the airport. And line F, orange, between Senhora da Hora and Fanceres. Let's go to the map to see the center of Porto. We put all the metro lines first and then show the main attractions in the center. To get around the tourist center closest to the river, the most useful line is the yellow line, which goes all the way to Vila Nova de Gaia. The most important station to know is Trindade, because it is where all the metro lines cross, and also because it is the final station of the metro line that arrives from the airport. In the future, the pink line G, which is well under construction, will connect São Bento station with Casa da Música without passing through Trindade station. Access to the metro stations is very well signposted and you won't have any problems. However, as you may have noticed, the same tracks are shared by different lines, with the exception of the yellow line, which runs on an almost exclusive line. Therefore, if you are taking the metro, you should check the ID of the train entering the station to see if it's the one you are interested in. The Porto Metro runs from 6 a.m. to 1 a.m. Monday to Sunday, including public holidays. How do you validate your journey? To validate your journey, you have to touch your card to the reader at the entrance to the platforms. Don't forget to validate your journey. There is no physical barrier, and it's not necessary to validate your card when you get off the train. The Porto Metro is useful for some specific journeys, such as leaving the airport or bus and train station or visiting the Casa da Música. Crossing the Luís I bridge on the yellow line is an amazing experience in Porto, and we would not miss it. Porto's autocarros, or buses, are another important public transport option in the city. The advantage is that they reach places where the metro does not, such as the Palacio de Cristal, and they also give you the right to see Porto from street level. In the description of the video, we're going to put a link to the Porto Bus website where you can check the lines and schedules. For getting around the busy center of Porto, the bus is not very convenient, but it can be a good way to get to places farther afield, even in the 500 line, which we will talk about in the video on what to do in Porto, which offers a sensational trip. The ticket is validated when you get on the bus. In Porto there is also the traditional hop-on, hop-off double-decker tourist bus. There are several companies offering the service. Like Lisbon, Porto also has its trams, but unlike Lisbon, Porto's trams are almost exclusively used by tourists and have very few routes. The trams are operated by the same company responsible for the city buses under the Porto Tram City Tour brand and have two lines. Line 1, known as the Marginal Line, departs from the side of the San Francisco Church and follows the Douro River towards the sea on a very pretty route, reaching Passeio Alegre, quite close to the Foz do Douro. Line 18, known as the Restauração Line, departs from the side of the Clérigos Tower, descends to river level and follows the same route as Line 1 to Passeio Alegre as well. As befits a tourist transportation, tickets are expensive. At the time of posting this video, a single ticket for an adult costs €5 and a return ticket costs €7. Despite the cost, at certain times of the day the trams are very crowded and many people make the expensive journey standing like sardines in tins, without enjoying the scenery, which is a pity. Porto has a funicular railway known as Funicular dos Guindais, which is primarily a tourist transport. It allows you to go up from the Ribeira by the river to the Batalha area in the center of Porto, and also to go down, of course. The funicular is operated by the same company as the metro. Each journey costs €2.50 for adults, and you can buy your ticket on the spot at the ticket office. If you are interested in this type of tourist transport, there is a ticket that allows you to travel 48 hours on the tourist bus, 24 hours on the tram and a round trip on the funicular. You will find a link in the video description so you can check out the details. Finally, for those who prefer the convenience of traveling by private car, Porto's large fleet of taxis is an economical option, as long as the driver is an honest taxi driver. Another option for getting around Porto is the TVDE, the Portuguese for ride-sharing services. Both Uber and Bolt operate in Porto. We believe that the main advantage of Uber and Bolt over taxis is that you know the cost of the journey before you get into the car, so you don't have to worry about where the driver is going. If you are already familiar with the companies, open your app when you are in Porto to find out the cost of the journey you want to take. Now let's see how to get out of Porto Airport. Francisco Sá Carneiro Airport, IATA code OPO, is located 12 kilometers from the city center. It is smaller than Lisbon Airport and has only one terminal, which makes life much easier for those looking for transport out of the airport. Once you get out into the open part of the airport, just walk straight ahead and follow the signs indicating the location of all transport alternatives, which are located just outside the airport terminal. You can take a bus, but frankly, we see no reason to do so, as it is much slower and costs the same as the metro, which we will talk about in a minute. You can take a taxi, which will charge you whatever the meter says, or a ride-sharing service. You will wait for Uber or Bolt in the corridor after the taxi corridor. Or you can take the metro, which, as we told you when we showed you Porto's metro lines, will take you to Trindade station in the city center, where you can transfer to other metro lines if necessary. Access to the airport metro is very well signposted. You will go down an escalator and cross a corridor to reach the station. There are ticket machines both to the left and to the right. Once you have bought import your ticket, and we'll show you how to do it in a sec. Validate it at the machine, go up an escalator and enter the metro. It is the first station on the line, there is no way to make a mistake. Take whichever metro is stopped at the station. And as always, be extremely careful with your belongings when traveling on public transport, especially if there are a lot of people. There are also pickpockets in Porto. To finish the video, let's talk about the tickets you will use to pay for your metro and bus journeys in Porto. The following explanation is useful whether you leave the airport by metro or not. Although there are different companies responsible for public transport in Porto, to pay for metro and bus travel, you need to be in possession of a single small card, valid in all of them, known as Andante. The Andante card is nothing more than an electronic wallet, the place where you store the tickets you are going to use. In the same way that you keep banknotes in your wallet, the Andante card holds the transport tickets you are going to use in Porto. It would be the equivalent of the Viva Viagem in Lisbon, and as in the case of the Lisbon card, you can only carry the same type of tickets on the Andante, you cannot mix types of tickets. Two important features of the card: it is individual, so it cannot be shared, and it is reusable. When you run out of credit, you can top it up without having to buy a new card. As it is reusable, you only have to buy the card once. It costs 60 cents and can be bought at all ticket machines, as we will show you later. Important warning, keep the card carefully, it is quite fragile, and if you are not careful, it can get damaged. The card is valid for 1 year. Children up to 3 years of age do not pay to travel on Porto transport. Children from 4 years old must be in possession of a valid card. The Porto metropolitan region is divided into fare zones. You don't need to understand in detail how these fare zones work. We will give you a simplified explanation. The city of Porto and the neighboring city of Vila Nova de Gaia are next to each other. Therefore, to travel through them, you can buy the cheapest ticket, which allows you to travel through up to 2 fare zones. If at any time you want to travel from the center of Porto to Matosinhos, you will have to buy a ticket valid for 3 zones. And to travel from the airport to the center of Porto, or vice versa, the ticket must be valid for 4 zones. A ticket valid for 2 or 3 zones allows you to change transport within 1 hour without being charged for a new ticket. A ticket valid for 4 zones allows you to change transport within 1 hour and 15 minutes without being charged for a new ticket. With the same ticket you buy to leave the airport by metro, you can change to another metro line within that hour and 15 minutes. There is also an unlimited 24-hour pass, time starting to count the first time you use the pass. In Porto, you won't use public transport much, but it can be an interesting option for some people. Right now, for example, the cheapest single ticket costs 130 euros. The cheapest 24-hour ticket costs 470. We'll leave you a link so you can check the updated prices. Let's go to the machine to see how to purchase a ticket to leave the airport or to travel within the city. At the airport metro machine, a text next to the machine summarizes in a simple way how to make this purchase for the passenger wanting to take the metro at the airport. You will see that a button below the screen allows you to switch between Portuguese, English, French and Spanish. Once you have chosen English, select Buy First. On the next screen, click on the button on the left if you want to buy a 24-hour ticket, which is not a very interesting option for leaving the airport, or the button on the right if you want to buy a single ticket. On the next screen, click on the Set for Trip ticket, the option you need to go from the airport to the center of Porto. If you are not leaving the airport, if you buy the ticket in the center of Porto and it is only to move within the city, buy a ticket valid for 2 zones, the Set 2. On the next screen, you will choose how many tickets you want to buy. If you are leaving the airport, choose 1 title. If you are in the city and want to buy more than 1, choose the quantity. If you buy 10 tickets, the system will reward you with an extra ticket for free. If you choose to buy 10 tickets, you will receive 11 and you will pay for 10. If you buy several tickets, remember that you are buying tickets, all of them valid for the number of zones you have previously chosen. If you are not a resident in Portugal, choose Invoice without taxpayer number on the next screen. And now you will see a summary of the purchase, including the cost of the Andante card. You can now pay with coins, banknotes or credit card. Once the payment is complete, the Andante card loaded with the tickets will appear at the bottom of the machine. You will need to repeat the process for as many people as are traveling with you, since the card is individual. Always remember to validate your journey before boarding the transport. If you change transport, even if it is within the period for which you do not have to pay again, you also have to validate it. And now let's look at how to top up the Andante card, a simple process with a little catch for anyone who has used the airport metro. Choose the English language and click on the Reload button on the left of the screen. Place your card in the reader below the screen. For those who bought their first Andante card in the center and loaded it with a ticket valid for 2 zones, click on Add Titles. For those who bought their Andante card at the airport, you should know that by default the system will load on your card the same type of ticket you bought previously. Therefore, if you tap Add Tickets, it will load tickets valid for 4 zones, which are more expensive and which you will not use. So tap on Change Type of Title and choose Tickets valid for 2 zones. Now you will choose the number of tickets you want to load on your Andante card, and the rest of the purchase process is identical, except now you won't be charged for the Andante card, and you will not take out a new Andante card from the bottom of the machine. You will remove the card you put in the reader at the beginning of the purchase process. With your Andante card in hand, you are now ready to explore Porto using public transport, metro and buses. As always, if you have any questions about the content of the video, please use the commentary box to ask. You will now see a video on the screen that will be very useful if, in addition to Porto, you plan to visit Lisbon. We are waiting for you in that video.